So Nick, thanks so much for coming and talking to me, man. Appreciate it.
Always.
We've been working together for a long time. You're a well-known guy in the industry, and RPM have got you snared you to come and set up their apartments division, mate.
Yeah, they have. So no, it's been 12 months already, which has gone in an absolute blink of an eye. But in that time, we started with nothing, so we had no projects whatsoever. We came in fresh, and we've been able to pick some really good developers. Some of them that you're working with now. And we've been very strategic in what we've gone after, and we've gone for things that we see in the marketplace that are quite scarce. And scarcity, obviously, buyers will flock to that because there's not much of a comparison around.
Yeah.
And we've found that inner city townhouses are really going well.
And what kind of, when you say inner city, what sort of areas do you think?
Look, inner city's typically been 2 to 10 k's from the city, and that's been forever and a day. But I'm finding just with the affordability issues going on in the world at the moment, or in Australia, that we probably can extend that now a little bit further out. One job in particular that we're selling at the moment, which is the Sandringham project. That's sort of quintessential sandy Bayside.
Who's the developer for that one?
That's DM Property.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so Brendan and David have been amazing. They've also acquired a couple of other sites that we're working with them on. And to your point, they're the kinds of developers we want to work with.
Yeah, and what is it about them that kind of makes them a suitable partner for you?
Well, look, they're responsive. They understand the market. They've been in the market themselves. They've worked in the marketplace for a long time. We do see eye to eye. So when we're sitting down working through plans, we can have a debate about something.
Yeah.
It's not just one way. And that's a good thing because you've got to take people for who they are and what they're worth in the industry, and sitting down having a pragmatic discussion about which plans are better and how we should structure the pricing and what sort of marketing we should go out with. They're very responsive, so they're the kind of guys I really like to work with. But we've got some other developers that we're working with from different parts of the world, and we're really focusing on the inner city townhouses, apartments where they're not clustered and they're not, it's not an overtake of apartments in a particular area.
Right.
So it'd be a boutique, some little boutique project in a different suburb.
So it's kind of, you look at the existing, stock mix within an area and see, is it kind of value additive to that? Is that right?
Yeah, is it going to work? And we also look at, what price can we sell this, product for? And if it's sitting under the median house price, typically a lot of buyers are going to say, I've always said this for everyone a day. I'm going to sound like a broken record, but buyers want the postcode without the price tag.
Yeah.
They want to get into the suburb they love. They want to get into the suburb that they can go and get their favourite coffee or go for a drink or go for some food. But they've got everything within a walking distance or, a short drive. That's the kind of thing that buyers want. And that's hasn't changed. And it doesn't matter. We've moved across to Geelong, selling apartments in Geelong as well. And
was that Ryrie Homes?
That was, so Geelong Quarter and Ryrie Home. So Adam and I successfully sold that one out. There's only a handful of apartments left, but that's settling very soon. You guys did an amazing job there. We overcome with leads, which was great.
That's how we do it, man.
Brother. And off the back of that, we've been able to move on to another project now. So we've got another 129 there kicking off soon. That one's close to the waterfront, but it's ticking the boxes for the right type of buyers that we've seen.
So this video is going to be sent out to several thousand developers, and a lot of them have questions right now about who the right partner is. If you're in the issues, what types of questions would you be asking about, and what makes a good agent in the current environment?
Look, I think I've seen a lot of agents go in and out of the marketplace over 20 years, and I think you have to be, you sort of have to wear your heart on your sleeve. You've got to be, a passionate human being to get into this industry, especially if you want to be in it long term. You also need to be prepared to do the hard things. And when I say hard things, they may seem simple, but calling a lead as soon as it comes in, it's very simple. I've had this mantra the whole way through my journey, is if you can get a buyer that inquires and their intention is to buy something and their attention is on a project we're selling and they inquire, if you're on the phone within 15, 20, 30 seconds, and I used to see it, I used to have quite a number of agents in a room, and I'd see when they'd call buyers, you could see when they'd called someone really quickly, because they'd be like, hired such and such from such and such company, and they always do this little giggle and go, yeah, I know, we are very, very quick at what we do. But buyers love that, because you're actually taking a bit of, you give a shit. You really want to be able to give that person what they want in a very quick time frame.
I think the context switching is hard for buyers as well. When, I don't know about you, but when I'm kind of sitting down to work on something, then I'm off to do something else, and I'm kind of focused on the next thing. I don't want to take a call.
You hit it on the head, because you would get an inquiry, and if you didn't call it for a few days, you'd call them up and you say, hi, it's such and such from such and such, and they go, where? I've inquired on 15 different things. But if you action it as soon as it comes in, they know exactly what you're talking about. Most times you can book an appointment very quickly. You can meet a buyer, maybe sell to them before the other agents have even got back, to that inquiry. So that's really important. We used to have an inquiry response time. It had to be within 15 minutes. Otherwise, it would get reallocated to somebody else.
I mean, we survey every buyer after they make an inquiry through Urban. And I know since we've been working together, you've always been in the top 5% of agents that get the highest contact response rates and some of the best buyer feedback we get. And we know the key thing that buyers really care about, and developers should be caring about it more, is the response time that you're talking about. So what you're saying, we're certainly seeing you deliver on based on the data we've got.
And they're the fundamentals. They're the things you need to have. But then you also need to know exactly what you're talking about. You need to have the product knowledge. You need to know what we're selling, the price points, the orientation, the location, the schools, the shops, the cafes. You've got to know everything about the suburb.
Absolutely.
So I deep dive. I take the agents down there, have a coffee, have some meals, have a few drinks, to really absorb themselves in the location. And I think that's, again, what sets us apart from the rest.
There's a lot of uncertainty out in the market at the moment. When you're talking to developers, what advice are you giving them?
Well, I'm not an economist, so I don't give advice on interest rates and building costs and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's funny, because a lot of we're just agents. So we try to control the controllables. Yeah. So don't worry about what's going on out in the marketplace. This is what we've got to deal with at the moment. So let's work out a way, because buyers need a home, right? Buyers need a home, and there's plenty of stock on the market to sell them. So we just need to find and adapt and work within the constraints that we've got and work around it. So we spitball with the agents in the office and say, how do we get over this hurdle of interest rates? And how do we get over this? And how do we make sure that, we're getting buyers into the display so we can have a conversation to them and then really talk about why they want to move. Yeah, so everyone's got an emotional reason why they're moving.
Internal driver for the buyer.
What's the drive? Yeah. So if we can isolate that and work out that in a pressure-filled environment, because that's the worst thing we can do, is be pressure agents.
No one likes commission breath, right?
No, that's the worst. You've got to sit back and just say, well, how do we get you to the next level? And I've always been like that. I've always taken the pressure off us by saying, you know what? If the property's going to be here when you come back, it's meant to be, rather than the buyer saying it to us.
Yeah.
So we want to really make them comfortable and know that we're genuine. We just want to help them get somewhere. And I think that's the best place to be. And all the agents that I work with, are very much minded in that same framework where, it's all about the buyer. Let's see if we can get them to that next level, without making it a disastrous pressure-filled situation where buyers feel forced to do something.
And obviously that impacts both the agent brand, but also the developer.
It does.
And it's making sure the consumer has a good experience with both parties.
Well, we represent and we work under the developer. So we're representing them, their brand, and everything that they believe in as well. So, and that needs to be aligned. And they're the types of people and developers that we want to work with, is ones that, we gel with, we work with, and, they know that we put our fist in our glove and we work to the bone and make sure that we get everything done. And we don't leave you halfway, through a development. We'll get there right to the end. And, if anyone knows me in the industry, they know that I do that. It's very easy to sell the first portion of a development, but, the cream rises to the top at that second half. And that's where we don't give up, and that's where we keep working, and we've got a track record of showing buyers and developers that.